something. Package store, I feel like it's better. At least 3 package stores coming to the top. I'm curious why that is. Good question. Politics. What's the dream?
Politics.
That's exciting. Got all the specs anymore.
All about the same price. All right.
Yeah.
Baptist mother and father might have a problem, but.
Oh, mine would. In the New York Minute.
70s first.
Oh, mine.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen them most of the line. See the cameras. Yep. Serious. But I mean, it's a good neighborhood. Rush works. I did not plan to start randomly pushing buttons in 6 minutes before the meeting, so. I mean, sometimes that's the best way to learn. Break it. Undo what you did.
Well, that is how troubleshooting works. If you
Yes.
take an educated guess, press a button, did that work?
No.
No, okay.
You speak very well. Shelley McGuire.
Testing to destruction.
The public family's been around.
Maiden name, you know a lot better. Amen.
Whatever.
I would do it.
I mean, I didn't get a chance to pull photos. I'll share some tomorrow morning. It's killer concert. Hold a couple off.
Say that again?
So hold a couple. Frank is down. Literally sitting on the floor.
They had two outdoor stages, so as soon as one band was done, pretty much they were switching over the next. So like these guys are getting on, it gets done as soon as that was done. They do a quick sound check, so it's like a round stop, band after band after band. And I got a great set of him last year. But this year they played Friday or Thursday. I didn't get done Friday. They had a cancellation, so they played another set during the day. It's like, real heavy drops. It's like, you've never played. It's new for us. John Fulbright, Hackers. So he had dancing up and down the sidewalk in front of the stage, so I had to try to get the silhouettes. Took a ton of shots to get the one where like you can see what the color is. There's a little bit of color. Yeah. That's inside. They were doing acoustic ones in the bar room. It's kind of like the bar, campground office, everything. So they would do those earlier in the day.
I'm not.
2 or 3 o'clock, they moved to the outdoor stages. That was did a bunch of gigs.
Oh.
2 people. She's one of the first one. This guy, the guy who laughs still. They had, I mean, they had like 7, 8 minutes. This jam out there, 2 guitar players, a keyboard player, the lap steel player, and a big jam. Like I said, I just pulled out a cup. He had everybody up. He was kind of like a mix like country.
Do you have an email up at all?
I don't, what you need.
I got somebody requesting for the meeting instructions. I don't think I got it. I don't understand.
It's on the,
It's working, right? The meeting instructions.
yeah, I mean, I'm logged in off the one that's published on the website. For me to download and send you the attachments.
Yeah, I can give you the email right now.
Yeah.
It's right here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they're tabling the thing anyways.
Well, he was on the email where I sent out the meeting instructions too.
Oh, okay, yeah, it is.
Mhm.
Here, it's not. No, I've emailed him before.
It's just his name
There it is.
at
Steve
Belton
Baker.
Engineering,
Got
yeah.
it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, he found it. He just logged in. All right, it is showtime. Start. Resume record.
I will now call the October 21st, 2024 Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting to order at 5:31 PM. Mrs. Tiffany Harrison, will you please call the roll?
Good evening and welcome to the October 21st, 2024 Planning and Zoning Open Session Meeting. Commissioners, please state present if in attendance. Commissioner Morales.
Present.
Commissioner Walker. Commissioner Jarosek.
Present.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Present.
Commissioner Carney. Commissioner Prager.
Present.
Vice Chair Smith. Chair Krause.
Present.
For the record, a quorum is present with 6 commissioners in attendance. Thank you.
Commissioner Morales will give the invocation and Commissioner Rhodes will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Will you please stand?
Join me, please. Gracious Heavenly Father, we humbly come before you to thank you for your blessings. We ask that you bless our leaders and all those who are here tonight. We ask that as elections come, that you bless each candidate and that they serve with a humble heart. As we discuss important matters tonight, we ask for your guidance and your wisdom. Help us to make new connections and gain wisdom and to do the work you set before us. Let it all be pleasing to you, Father. We give you all the honor and all the glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge the allegiance to the United States of America
And
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now confirm the meeting agenda items. The applicant has requested to table item 5, FY 24 41 ZC. Are there any questions or comments? If there are no objections, I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to table FY 24 41 ZC.
Second.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Rhodes and a second by Commissioner Morales to table item 5 and approve the remaining agenda items. Tiffany, may we have a vote?
Commissioner Morales,
Aye.
Commissioner Walker, Commissioner Jarosik,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes, Commissioner Prager, Chair Krause.
Aye. The meeting agenda items are approved by unanimous consent. Are there any public comments at this time? If so, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. We will have a timer on the screen for your reference. Please state your name and city of residence for the record. On the Thank you. On the consent agenda is the approval of item 4. If there are no objections, I will entertain a motion.
Second.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Morales and a second by Commissioner Walker to approve item 4 on the consent agenda. Tiffany, may we have a vote?
Commissioner Morales,
Aye.
Commissioner Walker, Commissioner Jarosik.
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes, Commissioner Prager. Chair Krause.
Aye. Item 4 is approved by unanimous consent. Item 5 has been tabled. We'll move on to item 6, and we'll read items 6 and 7, but we'll have a motion between the two. Item number 6, FY 24 49 ZC. Hold a public hearing to discuss and recommend action on a rezoning request from single family dwelling 3 district to general retail on 0.148 plus or minus acres out of a 13.749 acre tract located in the Maximo Moreno Survey, abstract number 14, City of Temple, Bell County, Texas, generally located west of the intersection of Case Road and southeast HK Dodge and Loop, identified by Appraisal District ID 40068. This case will be presented by Principal Planner Cheryl Maxwell. Then item number 7, FY 24 50 ZC. Hold a public hearing to discuss and recommend action on a rezoning request from general retail district to single family dwelling 3 on 0.602 plus or minus acres out of a 13.749 acre tract located in the Maximo Moreno Survey. Abstract number 14, City of Temple, Bell County, Texas, generally located west of the intersection of Case Road and southeast HK Dodge and Loop, identified by Appraisal District ID 40068. The case will be presented by Principal Planner Cheryl Maxwell.
Hey, thank you, Chair Krause. So both of these items are scheduled to go to the city council for first reading on November the 7th and second reading on November the 21st. This shows the location of the properties. This is Loop 363 and Case Road. Both of them are located just to the west of the intersection of these two roads. And here's a zoomed in view of the property. You can see, I'll just refer to as case number 49 and case number 50, that they are all located on this larger tract of land. I believe it was like 13 acres. The property is currently undeveloped. This is proposed for development as the next phase of the South Point development. This will be phase 5. And the residences that are existing that this one case backs up to is also part of that development. I believe this is phase 2. Here's a couple of pictures of the property. Again, it's all one property, just different portions of it. This is the view of the case that's closest to Case Road. This is a view then towards the backside, closer to where the existing houses are located. And this is the other side of the houses, so you can see the front side of them. And this is the view to the north where we have future residential lots proposed with that next phase. And the view to the south where there's a future retail lot proposed. And then this is the east side of Case Road across from this site. So here's the zoning map. General retail is all shown in the red color and single family 3 is the yellow color. So you can kind of see the two cases and what they're currently zoned. Right adjacent to it is an excerpt from the plat that's been provided. Actually, the plat has changed slightly, but generally you can kind of see how the lots will be laid out. Lot 37, this larger lot, is going to be proposed for retail use. And you can see it's primarily already zoned general retail, but this little section is currently zoned single family 3. So the request is to change that to general retail so that the entire lot 37 will be zoned general retail. Same thing for the section here to the north of that. This portion shown here in yellow is currently zoned general retail, but it's part of these residential lots, which are zoned single family 3 on the northern part. So again, the proposal is to go ahead and rezone this portion that's currently general retail to single family 3 so that there's consistent zoning for all of those lots that are proposed for residential use. Do you want to point out? Oh, sure. Sorry. No problem. And
Sorry.
that's fine.
You're good.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Do want to point out that the plat will be coming to you at the next meeting. These zoning changes are not required for plat approval. As long as they don't use this back portion, for retail, it can proceed as is, and single family uses are allowed in general retail. So this wouldn't have to be rezoned either, but it's desired to just clean it up until there's no conflicts down the road. In your packet, there's different charts and graphs and whatnot. Just pulled out a couple here. This shows the permitted and conditional uses between single family 3 and general retail. And again, you're probably familiar, there's considerably more uses that are allowed in general retail than what you're going to find in single family 3. And then also a comparison of the different lot sizes and setbacks. With regard to utilities, this shows the existing water in blue and the sewer in green. And these lines will be extended as part of when the phase 5, when that comes forward for development, those will be extended to provide service. And this is the comp plan. The yellow is shown as residential and neighborhood service for the future land use. Appropriate uses include single family use, neighborhood serving retail, personal service, and restaurants without a drive-through. So the single family 3 is consistent with the future land use. General retail allows more uses than neighborhood service and also allows a drive-through. However, again, the intent of the rezoning is to provide consistent zoning for the lot. So the small portion that will be now changed to general retail, if this is approved, will not affect the overall use of the lot and presents no conflict with the future development plan. And this slide, there's a lot on this one. I'll hit the high points first. Basically, with regard to the thoroughfare plan, the mobility plan, the trails master plan, and sidewalk ordinance, the rezoning case presents no conflict. I do want to point out with regard to the thoroughfare plan, and again, this will come up when we review the subdivision plat, but the thoroughfare plan is showing Case Road as a neighborhood collector, and then it's showing Loomis Drive as a future neighborhood collector where they intersect. With the plat that's been presented, the applicant's requesting basically an exception to eliminate that connection. Staff is generally supportive of it, but we'll be making or recommending some other thoroughfare plan amendments to accommodate that. So this portion of Case Road from Alton Road all the way to the loop, the proposal is to downgrade that to a local street. This portion of Loomis Drive that will then terminate in basically a cul-de-sac or a curving road, that will also be downgraded to a local street. And then Alton Road, which is a neighborhood collector up to this point, that'll be upgraded to a neighborhood collector all the way to Case Road. So basically on the east side of Alton Road, this will all become local streets. And then you'll have Alton Road basically making that north-south connection as a neighborhood collector street. So again, just wanted to make you aware of that, that will be coming forward. But again, as far as the rezoning for this case, that really doesn't affect it. So the requested rezoning, both cases are in compliance with the future development plan, the thoroughfare plan, compatible with surrounding uses and zoning, and public facilities are available. So notices were sent out, two separate ones, one for each zoning case. They were sent to all property owners within 200 feet. It was also printed in the newspaper on October the 10th. We've not received any response for either case. And we recommend approval of both of these cases, and I'll be happy to answer any questions at this point.
Are there any questions or comments?
That little corner lot, like where it's like a little sliver and it's gonna be changed to general retail. I mean, would that be?
Right.
It can't, but you don't have to go access to see it how narrow it gets, like, but that's just part of like the rest of the general retail.
Right, yeah, it'll just be incorporated with the rest of, what they're proposing is lot 37. Let me go back here. Whoops, go back here. Up, wrong way. Right. Yeah, it'll just be absorbed with all of this lot. So just be one large lot, lot 37. Yeah, I'm not sure how all that happened, but you're right. Definitely before there were the subdivision had the lines in, yeah.
Case requires a public hearing. We will entertain, we'll open the public hearing. We will now open the public hearing. If you wish to speak and are attending in person, please come to the podium. If you're viewing the meeting online, please virtually raise your hand. Limit your comments to 3 minutes. And we will have a timer on the screen for your reference. Provide your full name and city of residence for the record. And this is for item 6 FY-24-49-ZC.
Seeing no hands raised online.
None present. We will now close the public hearing. If there are no more questions or comments, I will entertain a motion.
Dude, I'm just not sure the wording. You guys are very specific. Motion to approve lots, if I can get my cheat sheet, FY-2449ZC from SF3 to GR. Doing separate or doing together? As presented. Yeah.
Second,
Motion has been made by Commissioner Prager and a second by Commissioner Morales to recommend approval of item 6 FY-24-49-ZC to City Council per staff recommendation. Tiffany, may we have a vote?
Commissioner Morales,
aye.
Commissioner Walker, Commissioner Jarosek.
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner Prager.
Aye.
And Chair Krause.
Aye.
Vote is unanimous and the motion carries.
Item number 7, which was presented, FY-24-50-ZC, also requires a public hearing. Are there any questions or comments or? If you wish to speak and you're here for the public hearing, please come to the podium. If you're viewing the meeting online, please raise your hand. Limit comments to 3 minutes.
Seeing none online.
We will now close the public hearing. If there's no more questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion for FY 24-50-ZC.
Make a motion to approve FY 24-50 ZC from GR to SF3 as stated.
Second.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Rhodes and a second by Commissioner Prager to recommend approval of item number 7, FY 24-50-ZC to City Council per staff recommendation. Tiffany, may we have a vote?
Commissioner Morales,
Aye.
Commissioner Walker, Commissioner Jarosik,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner Prager, and Chair Krause.
Aye.
The vote is unanimous and the motion carries.
We'll now move on to item number 8. Hold a public hearing to discuss and recommend action on a conditional use permit to allow retail sales of all alcoholic beverages for off-premise consumption in the city of Temple, Bell County, Texas, addressed as 2204 West Avenue M, Suite A. Case will be presented by Principal Planner Jason Deckman.
All right, good evening, Chair and Commissioners. The City Council schedule for this item is on your screen. It will go for first reading on November 7th. This is located on the corner of South 43rd Street and Avenue M. And you see there, it's kind of over there near I-35 and south of Avenue H. And on the aerial photo, you see this was recently built. So the aerial photo shows the building, does not show the improvements made to the parking or the sidewalks. We've got some site photos to show you that. So you see it was already constructed. They already put the sign up and you see the sign that says now open. We did have to instruct them that they were not ready to open. So they whited out the sign and applied for the conditional use permit. So I'll go next to the top right is showing some of the adjacent homes along South 43rd Street. And then the bottom two are looking in either direction along Avenue M, showing a number of businesses. There's a tire business, there's some used car, and then the darker building here is a cabinet shop. So they've provided both the site plan from the building permit showing the parking as well as the internal layout of both the convenience and the liquor store. So this is the liquor store request, requires the conditional use permit, as the code calls it, the package store. The GR zoning does not prohibit the use, but does require them to apply for and receive conditional use permit. It is an existing retail site, as you saw in the photos. There's landscaping and parking, lighting and signage are already installed. They did approve their TABC permit. Our codes puts out specific standards for package stores under UDC section 5.3.17. One of the key factors is whether or not there's a pickup window. The code allows it, but then places requirements for turnaround lanes and drop offs. They're on an end suite, but they're not using a pickup window, so that part of the code is not applicable. Chapter 4 of the code of ordinances covers sales of all alcohol in places of 300-foot distance from churches, public schools, and hospitals. Public and private schools and hospitals. This is not within 300 feet of any of those uses, and it is located in Temple Independent School District. And we've notified 23 properties of surrounding property owners. Received 2 notices in disagreement. Those came in today. Commissioners, you've been provided a written copy with the owner's comments. And they're shown on the map, and the newspaper printed notice of the public hearing on October 16th, 2024, in accordance with state law and local ordinance. So conditional use permits allows council to deny a CUP if they feel it's incompatible with the surrounding uses, if it's detrimental or offensive to the neighborhood. Per UDC section 3.5.5, P&Z can recommend and council may add conditions of approval. Staff has put together a few conditions for you reviewed this evening. And then the permittee must demonstrate that granting the permit would not be detrimental to the public welfare, and that a site development plan does accompany the CUP ordinance. So we showed you that floor plan and site plan. In terms of some of the CUP criteria, we'll start with traffic and then we'll show you the whole table. A liquor store of that size, 800 square feet. The Institute for Traffic Engineers makes estimation based on the square footage of the building or of the business. This is a smaller suite. It's 800 square feet. The convenience store next door is 1,800. And there's some comparison to some other uses that could go into a retail strip building like this one. As you can see, the convenience store is going to generate a lot more traffic than the proposed liquor store. Avenue M is a minor arterial with a capacity for 12 to 24,000 daily trips. The current traffic counts are just over 6,000. And we looked at the crash history on Avenue M, 56 crashes along that section of the street. 1 fatal, 1 serious injury, 10 minor injuries. You can see that the intersections of 43rd and 31st are the 2 hot spots. And that's fairly normal. You see more crashes at intersections because there's more conflict points. There was 1 fatality in this area. It was a pedestrian who failed to yield the right of way to the vehicle. Other common factors were failure to yield either while turning left or to stop sign or speeding. So the CUP compliance summary, we look at compatibility with the neighborhood property, normal development, access, drainage, traffic. The answers to all of those are yes, except for the neighboring property. That's partial. In the neighborhood plan, they looked at what was the long-term vision for Avenue M. And while it was intended for a retail corridor, it was not intended to continue the parking lot in front business pushed back. So visiting with the neighborhood planner was seeing that this wasn't strictly in alignment with the neighborhood plan. So that's a partial. And then staff recommends approval of the conditional use permit to allow retail sales of alcohol beverages for off-premise consumption at 2204 West Avenue M, subject to the following conditions. Continued compliance with the site plan, Chapter 4, compliance with Section 5.3.17. Store hours are limited to Monday through Saturday, 10 to 9, closed Sundays and holidays. And if the holiday falls on a Sunday, then the liquor store is supposed to be closed the following Monday. That's straight out of TABC, but we've added that for just some additional visibility. And the significant changes to the use of the property and how it relates to alcohol sales. For example, if they decided they didn't want a package store and that they wanted to come back for a restaurant that allowed on-site, they may have to come back for that. So if there is a change to that use, that would require the additional review and approval. That concludes the presentation. I'll stand by if you have any questions.
Jason, is the convenience store already open?
Yes, sir.
And then were they just not informed of the idea of putting a liquor store, or they got confused with
There was
TABC versus the
Correct.
CUP?
they didn't understand that there were multiple hurdles to go through.
Same owner, I guess?
Sir.
okay.
Yeah. And it may be worth noting the general retail allows the convenience store, which would include sales of beer and wine, if they're selling distilled liquors. That's the distinction that the code requires the conditional use permit for the hard liquor for the liquor store.
Got it.
2 separate entrances.
Correct. Go back to the site photos.
And there's not a pass-through or anything like that
No,
inside?
see, it's a solid wall from the building permit. Separate restrooms, separate entrances.
No, it's right, sort of in the middle of the neighborhood, although it's on Avenue M. But is there any daycare or churches close by?
So the daycare is not a protected use per the code. And the churches, the schools are outside the 300 foot. I don't have the distance memorized, but it was outside the 300 feet.
The nearest one is Heights Baptist, but it's not, it's with over 300 feet. And you said it was a partial on the land use because the building was pushed back more to allow parking. Is that why?
Right. The neighborhood plan is trying to move away from having the whole front of the property. And this isn't for liquor stores or convenience stores.
Just anything.
Specifically, this is just any business. It could be the used car sales. to move away from having the entire frontage as drive entrance with no sidewalk or minimal sidewalk for pedestrians to cross. Have the building pushed to the front with the parking area. That way it's a little bit more walkable, more pedestrian friendly. And this came in about a year ago, I think was when the building plans first came in, and started getting discussed. I'd have to go back, to be honest, and check when the neighborhood plan was approved. It was around the same time. So, but now that the plan's approved, the request for the conditional use permit comes in. We look at that. Does it fit with what the neighborhood plan has said is the long range vision? And I would say, does it conflict with it? Not necessarily. Does it align with it strictly? No, that was where Christina Strickland, the neighborhood planner, said it doesn't align.
Did it become before P and Z before to have the building built, just in general, or no? Well,
No, it wasn't necessarily
it was a
it was
normal.
already zoned GR, so they could apply for the building
Okay.
permit.
Other questions or comments? None online?
It seems like, because it's not a retail area, but I know that road, and if there's the donut shop on the corner, and there's on the Cuscos, but then it's like auto stuff. I'm just trying to like picture it, like, seems like an odd spot, but there's already a convenience store. I don't know, that's just like a stream of consciousness, then there's definitely anything helpful in those thoughts.
The case requires a public hearing. So we will now open the public hearing. If you wish to speak and are attending in person, please come to the podium. If you're viewing the meeting online, please virtually raise your hand. Limit your comments to 3 minutes. Provide your full name and city of residence for the record.
Hello. My
Hello.
name is Alice Grutch. I live in Temple, Texas, and I'm a single female, 68 years old. Does that make me elderly? But I live alone, and I'm right across the alley from this liquor store. How would you like to live across the alley from the liquor store where there's off-site consumption of alcohol when you're right next door? Already, I've had people breaking into my shed, trying to steal a wagon. This is twice. I had to have a fence constructed that cost me $700 last week alone, just to keep the riffraff away. I have small dogs that were able to thwart the robbery, the theft of a wagon from my shed. But I'm afraid for my dogs. I don't want them injured because they're barking at someone who's on my property illegally. And I put up no trespassing signs as well. But my house is paid for, and I don't want you to devalue my property. It didn't have, I wouldn't have bought a house next door to a liquor store. I was there first. I'm a single female. I don't want all the riffraff that comes with a liquor store. Already, the convenience store has a window, a drive-up window, but they're congregating in the alley right by my house and drinking because there is a lot of alcohol already for sale from the convenience store, among other paraphernalia. I'm not happy about this. I don't want this next door to me. I don't want to live in fear. I don't want my property to be devalued because I didn't buy a property next to a liquor store. I wouldn't have done that. Help. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Grutch. Are there other persons wishing to speak?
Real quick, Mr. Deckman, is there a drive-through window on the convenience store?
Yes.
I'm gonna take her word for it.
Can you pull up the pictures of the building again? What is
I
it?
got one really on that end of it. That may be it right there is what she's talking about.
Say that again, sir?
Street side.
Okay.
Where this little awning is?
Yeah.
Is that, okay.
Now, does that fall within since it's a separate building, you're doing beer and wine out of that, is that in any problem with
So you
code?
did change their code about 2 years ago, Kyle.
Because of all the
During some
COVID
of the
stuff?
pandemic stuff to allow to-go sales.
Okay,
So that's not part of the evaluation for the liquor store. You know, I keep it strictly to that
correct.
request.
So just for the record, though, if they were to pull up to that drive-through and ask for hard liquor from their counterpart next door, they can't do that by TABC law. Okay. Not
By
CUP
TABC
law,
and
but
by ours, right? They would have to have the CUP for our code.
right. But does TABC allow that anywhere? Hard liquor? I don't know that, so.
I don't, well, I mean, they do. I'm not sure if I know the nuance of their code.
Brian or
Between beer
Kyle,
and
do y'all
wine
know?
sales versus liquor sales only.
Drive-through hard, I mean, I don't drink, so drive-through hard
Yeah.
liquor, but my point is there other places in town that you can do that? I don't know.
There's a Belton. It's
Yes.
Cowboy to drive there.
Yeah,
Which is sealed as a strip of tape across it.
Right.
For crying out loud.
The paper on it.
Yeah.
that, I'm gonna say that the example, that's the Daiquiri Express, which we have one down on South 31st.
Or
Street.
leaving a Mexican restaurant. I get that, yeah. But
Right.
I'm just talking about, can you buy a bottle of vodka and take it over to their drive-through? I'm assuming not, but I don't know if there's a TABC rule that says that, or it just doesn't fall within the CUP
I can say it doesn't fall within the CUP because it's gonna be a separate
building.
building, separate suite. I'd have to research the TABC. I don't know the finer points of all of their code. Not yet, but I'm learning.
Go ahead, Mrs. Poswing.
My name is Shelley Posman.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Was told that the guy that runs the convenience store, I call him Luda, that he will go next door to the liquor store to get you liquor if you want mild.
Approach them and clarify that.
Hey, Shelley Poswang. I'm a Tipple resident, lived here all my life for 51 years. I lived in this particular address for 23 years. Never have I had the problem that I'm having now. Since the actual mart has opened, there is drunks in the alley, literally sitting next to dumpsters. You have gunshots going off nearly weekly. Can't say that it's in regards to this, but I am a citizen that wants better for the whole town, not just parts of the town. I don't want my property devalued. And I think there's a lot of cleaning up that needs to go on in this town. If we're gonna make it beautiful and a great place to stay and play, we need to do that for the whole community, not just parts. When this particular building was being built, we spoke to the owner. We asked him what it was gonna be. He would not tell us what it was gonna be. He evaded the question. Then we found out it was a mart. We found out that they were actually already selling alcohol within the mart store. We asked him about it later, about the liquor store. He declined to answer that as well. So if you're not going to be for your neighborhood, but you want us to come and be your customers, what makes us want to be for that if you're not for us? I guess is what I'm basically saying. And I absolutely disagree with this.
the wrecks on 43rd Street did not start happening until this place was put in, the spa. Like I said, I've lived here for 23 years. Never have I had any of this problem. And I hope y'all will take a closer look at that for our community. There is more liquor stores around the community than this one needs to be there. Some on 57th and on Avenue M, for crying out loud, just a few blocks away. So I hope y'all will hear me out. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Posling. Please come up to the podium.
Alice Grutch, blah, blah, blah. There are gambling machines in the convenience store. And these are available 24 hours. This is already causing a lot of traffic up and down that alley. There's a lot of regulars that go there to gamble. I'm not comfortable with that either. Did you know about the gambling machine?
Saw them on the pictures. I I've never been in there, but saw them on the pictures.
Like Keno machines. Yeah.
Just like those videos. Take fun.
I don't play them, so I'm not familiar. Yeah.
Computerized gambling or whatever, computer.
It's on the liquor sides of the store.
But excuse me, the convenience store is open 24 hours?
Yeah, nonstop dog barking, alley traffic, it's ridiculous. We can't sleep at night. Trash.
The tough spot, I really sympathize with what you guys must be dealing with. It brings the question in mind, like the problems you're having are from the existing convenience store, which is not under any kind of conversation right now. Like the convenience store is open and running, and that's not what we're here to talk about. If we were to allow the conditional use permit for the liquor store, your concerns are that it will add to the existing problems, but like, I feel like we need to separate, like the convenience store, it's here, it's done, like, it's open. Maybe you can get it shut down, I don't know what that process would be. That's not what we're talking about now. So if there's gambling in the convenience store is 24 hours, I just feel like that's all kind of irrelevant to the question at hand, which is, do we allow the CUP for the liquor store? Like, what changes to the liquor store bring, because that liquor store won't be 24 hours. The liquor store won't have a drive-through, the liquor store won't have gambling machines. I feel that's but if the applicant is meeting all of the requirements set forth, I feel like, is that what is our job to analyze, and what you're already dealing with? Very unfortunate, and I very much sympathize with you. But it's not gonna be changes.
Yes, Commissioner Prager, you're exactly correct, but you also can consider the neighbors' input, and yeah, I mean, that's part of the public hearing process, so.
One of the things, I don't think I'll need you, Brian, but one of the things that I want to encourage y'all as the citizens, and realize that, I've been through a lot of these cases in my past, is that, this board is an advisory board to the city council. So therefore, when Mr. Deckman mentioned that the first reading would be on November the 7th, for a final approval, if for some reason, if it went through up here tonight, then I would encourage you to get your neighbors and things of that nature around to be able to come and voice your concern at the city council meeting, because those are elected officials. They have that weight to be able to hopefully help a little bit more. I do sympathize with what's going on. You do have a point that this is for the other building, which is definitely a concern also. But also at the same time, I go back, I don't know what all the rules are, Brian and Jason, to as far as the they were allowed general retail to open up a convenience store there, but I don't know if the gambling machines, I don't know, I don't know if that stuff is allowed in a convenience store, or Kyle is getting up, so he might know that. So,
The machines themselves are regulated by the state, whether they comply with the state's regulations. Game rooms are regulated by the county. They limit you to, they don't allow full game rooms within municipalities. But if you have less than 6 machines, I believe it is, then you are allowed to operate within the city. There's no regulation on less than 6 machines.
sounds good.
I believe it's less than 6. So I'd have to go check the county regulations again, but it's
Probably 6
county
and under or
regulations.
something, yeah.
Yeah.
So whichever way this goes, but when it goes before council, Mr. Deckman, Brian, I would suggest letting council know, so that maybe can look into if there's been some disturbances in that area. That's a concern. That's that's a long-standing neighborhood where there's a lot of elderly, not saying that you're elderly, but there is a lot of elderly people in that area, and those homes have been around way before we were around. So, I mean, it's something to look at. To make sure that they're following.
Well, and one promise that I can make is that, we don't have eyeballs everywhere all the time, but we do have police, we do have code enforcement. So I'll make the promise that I will run this over their direction to make them aware of that. So they may know, but we'll encourage that. Mm-hmm.
Also, just want to remind, especially the new commissioners, that just because staff is recommending something, you're not going to hurt our feelings. So you look at this one versus the next one. Well, the next one, very different. It's not right adjacent to a neighborhood. So
Could you pull up the regulations again that y'all had at the beginning, what we need to consider? There we go.
That the slide you wanted?
Yes, thank you. So we need to consider these as well, right? Talks to what we were talking about just now from the residents there.
Obviously not compatible either with the residents. I mean. If there are no other comments, we'll close the public hearing. I will entertain a motion for FY-24-51-ZC.
I'm gonna go for denial of FY 24-51 ZC.
Second.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Rhodes and a second by Commissioner Morales to recommend disapproval of item 8 FY-24-51-ZC to the City Council per staff recommendation. Tiffany, may we have a vote?
Commissioner Morales,
Aye.
Commissioner Walker, Commissioner Jarosek,
He's abstaining.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner Prager,
Nay.
Chair Krause.
Aye.
The vote is 4 ayes, 1 nay, and 1 abstain.
Or denial.
It's 4 ayes, 4 nays, and 1 abstain
No, 4 ayes, 1 nay, and 1 abstain.
on the motion to recommend disapproval.
Yes.
Okay.
Prager, you were against the denial. Okay.
So the motion carries?
Motion
Motion carries.
Go ahead and put this on the screen right now. Y'all tell me if I got it right. Kyle's nodding his head yes. All right.
Yes.
But again, reminder to the citizens on November 7th, you need to watch that. Okay, because that is the final say.
We'll move on to item 9, FY-25-1-ZC. Hold a public hearing to discuss and recommend action on a conditional use permit to allow retail sales of all alcoholic beverages for off-premise consumption located at Epic Subdivision, Block 001, Lot 0001 in the city of Temple, Bell County, Texas, addressed as 2940 South 31st Street. The case will be presented by Principal Planner Jason Deckman.
All right, good evening. So as mentioned, this is on South 31st Street. You see on the map that it's directly behind the HEB. And the same schedule for the last case applies to this case. So it will also be presented to City Council for first reading on November 7th. So this one is located on the big retail complex, the corner of 31st Street in the Loop. And as you see on the aerial photo, it's the end suite. There's some restaurants, nail salon, a noodle shop, and then the backside of the HEB, and then there's the gas station to the south. So we got some site photos. So again, it's a, existing retail strip center, already developed landscaping and parking. They're occupying the end suite. They've also said they're not going to have a pickup window or drive-through window, even though they're on the end cap. And as you see on the photos on the bottom, the Taco Bell, the fast food, and then it's just across from the mall, looking in this direction. They've also provided the floor plan, as you see on the right, with the entrance is at the top. Racks and refrigerators and all the counter space along the left-hand side. A lot of the same conditions and situations. It's an existing retail site. It's general retail zoning. They also had their TABC permit in place. In their case, they had not opened. We became aware of it as they were moving to get ready to open. Asked for a pre-inspection by the fire marshal, and he contacted us, just said, out of curiosity, are you guys aware of this? No. So we contacted the applicant. He agreed, let's apply for the conditional use permit, stated he wanted to be compliant, from the beginning. And this is also not within 300 feet of any protected use, schools, churches, or hospitals. And it's also within Temple ISD. In this case, this is a bit of a unique situation. The conditional use permit would apply to the black rectangle here, just for that end cap suite. But the way our code's written, we notify for the property. So we notified 29 property owners around that entire HEB retail development. As of today, we have not received any notices back, either in agreement or disagreement. And the newspaper printed notice on the same day, October 16th. The same criteria for the CUP apply to determine whether it's compatible with the surrounding uses or detrimental to the neighborhood or the welfare of the city and its inhabitants. And the site development plan, as you saw, was the floor plan for the internal layout. Quite a bit more traffic in this area. HEB on their own would generate about 6,000 trips a day to or from. This is a little bit bigger than the last request, 1,600 square feet. So the liquor store would attract about 172 weekday trips. That's average based on the Institute of Traffic Engineers. The fast food would generate, each of them for the equivalent square footage, 750 trips. They're going to draw a lot of traffic as well. If this wasn't a liquor store, I took some liberty and made a guess of, if it wasn't a liquor store, what could that suite be? There's a nail salon. Those don't generate much traffic at all, according to their calculations. Pulled up a bank, a walk-in bank for that square footage would generate about 19 daily trips. Current volume of South 31st Street is 40,179. 31st Street is shown as a major arterial. Our comp plan says that that should have a capacity of about 20 to 40,000 daily trips. I think it surprises no one that that would be, considered over capacity. And Loop 363, just on the main lanes, is 23,000 shown over here, with additional 20,000 on each of the frontage roads. So that highway carries a lot of traffic, but it's a highway. As far as safety analysis, I don't think it's a surprise either that there's a lot of crashes at the intersection of the frontage road and 31st Street, as well as the entrances at Azalea, Market Loop, and the mall over here. Just a lot of turning movements. Busy road, a lot of conflict points. Fortunately, no fatalities, only 2 serious injuries. So the verdict there is that majority of those are fender benders. As you see, the common factors are failure to control speed or distracted driving. In this one, as far as the compliance, it's yeses across the board. It's a retail use. It's compatible with the surrounding retail development. There's no homes in the immediate vicinity. Allowing a liquor store here would not impede development on the adjacent suites or the adjacent buildings. It is already developed with utilities and access and drainage, safe and convenient movement of traffic as much as it can be done on 31st Street. And lighting and landscape and screening are already in place, and they've complied with building permits for those. So staff recommends approval of the conditional use permit to allow retail sales of alcohol for off-premise consumption at 2940 South 31st Street, subject to the following conditions. These may look familiar to you. It's the same conditions. And again, we're including that TABC language about the store hours just to make that clear. That concludes my presentation. I'll take any questions you may have.
There questions or comments? This case requires a public hearing, so we will now open the public hearing. If you wish to speak and are attending in person, please come to the podium. If you're viewing the meeting online, please virtually raise your hand. Limit comments to 3 minutes. We will have a timer on screen for reference. Provide your full name and city of residence for the record.
Seeing none online.
None present. We will now close the public hearing. If there are no more questions or comments, I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve FY-25-1-ZC as presented by staff.
Second.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Walker and a second by Commissioner Rode to recommend approval of item number 9, FY-25-1-ZC to City Council per staff recommendations. Tiffany, may we have a vote?
Commissioner Morales,
Aye.
Commissioner Walker, Commissioner Jarosik,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner Prager,
Aye.
Chair Krause.
Aye.
The vote is unanimous and the motion carries.
We will now move on to item 10, which is FY-24-45-PLT. Consider and take action on the Mageas North, a 0.379 plus or minus acre, 2 lots, 1 block residential subdivision, being a replat of Block 4, Block 6, L.R. Taylor's Addition, located in the city of Temple, Bell County, Texas, addressed as 513 North 5th Street. The case will be presented by Senior Planner Shelby Smith.
Good evening, Chair and members of the Commission. So you can see that this is located off of North 5th Street near West French Avenue. Looking at this photo here, this is the location of the Tres Mageas restaurant. This is for a final plat for 0.37 acres, 2 lot, 1 block. And this is a replat. Originally it was one lot and the replat is to create two lots. So creating an additional lot, which is why it's for the Planning and Zoning Commission review. Lot 1, which will be the top lot, would be for non-residential use, and lot 2 will be for residential use. There is an existing house on lot 2. Again, this is a residential replat technically, so there will be a notification sent to property owners within 10 days after this meeting. For the zoning is zoned central area. Lot 1 will be used for a parking expansion for the restaurant, and this is permitted by right in the central area zoning district. Some background information. This went to the Development Review Committee on August 19th of this year and was deemed administratively complete / filed on October 10th of this year. For utilities, water is available from a 6-inch water line in North 5th Street to the west side of the property, and also a 4-inch water line to the north along West French Avenue, and as well as a 6-inch water line. And then for wastewater, there's also availability from an existing 8-inch sewer line within the alignment of the alley. There are no park fees or park requirements. The applicant is not requesting any additional units besides the existing residential. For neighborhood planning district, it is in line with the neighborhood planning district, and P&Z is the final authority. No exceptions were requested. Looking at the final plat, again, lot 1 would be the non-residential lot and lot 2 would be the residential lot with the existing house. And then you can see your utility plan here as well. Staff recommends approval of the final plat of Mageas North, and I'll pause for any questions.
Just one thing that you said, that the notices would be sent out to the residents after this meeting?
Yes.
Why not before? I'm just curious.
So that might be a Kyle question, but normally for the residential replats, we'll send notification.
City of Austin or?
It's statutory. It's in the legislation because they push plats through on a quicker timeline. There's a 30-day shot clock now. They don't require you to do the residential replat notification until after the residential replat has been done.
Wow, okay.
Is the house occupied?
I'm sorry, what was that? I'm not sure, to be honest. I think you actually have the applicant online, so that might be a question for the applicant too.
Brian, barring not Austin, but the state of Texas, is there something in your plan that you would want to in the future say we should let those residents know? Or I know the legal version, and he just gave that, but I'm asking just for curiosity if that comes up again.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I don't think there's anything in state law that would preempt us from requiring that notification going back to the way it used to be. But something that does make it kind of problematic with the old notification beforehand that state law did require before they changed it is that it tends to give neighbors an impression that they can change it, when the reality is, hey, this is a plat, and if it checks all the boxes, unlike zoning, the plat, if the boxes are checked, then giving an impression that their input can be considered.
That's the differentiator.
Yeah,
I got it.
Creates an expectation that they can make a change even if all the boxes are checked.
That's the differentiator. Okay, thanks.
David, are you able to hear? There was a question for the applicants. Is the home currently occupied? He doesn't know.
Okay.
Being familiar with that area, it would definitely be an improvement for for the parking and the, everything that goes along with that restaurant. As it is right now, vehicles are sitting out on Third Street. And they could at least make the corner, you know, walk across or whatever. Anyway, if there are no more questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve FY -24 -45 PLT as presented by staff.
A motion has been made by Commissioner Walker and a second by Commissioner Morales to recommend approval of item 10 FY -24 -45 PLT to the city council per staff recommendation. Tiffany, may we have a vote?
Commissioner Morales,
Aye.
Commissioner Walker, Commissioner Jarosik,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner Prager.
Aye.
Chair Krause.
Aye.
The vote is unanimous and the motion carries.
Is there further business for this evening? If not, the meeting is closed at 6:33 PM.